Okay, so just going to record a little demo here of a multi-protocol message bus. This is just kind of laying out the exact components of the demo. In this case, we have IBM WebSphere MQ installed, as well as RabbitMQ, an AMQP broker, and the Solus messaging appliance, in this case acting with the JMS API. So we have three different types of message brokers, all of which can't natively talk to one another and have their own issues in terms of interoperability. And tying it all together here is a layer 7 secure span gateway, and I'll show you how all these components have been configured to one another to be interoperable through this gateway. So we've defined input queues and output queues on each of these different brokers. So the WebSphere manager has a queue called input queue, and test queue is the output queue, and I'll show you some tools on how we're going to generate traffic in and out of here. Similarly, the RabbitMQ here has a RabbitInQ and RabbitQ, which is the outbound queue, and Solus has some queues defined here as layer 7 to Solus and Solus to layer 7. Okay, so that's the demo environment. If we were to look quickly here in for each tool, this is the administrative tool from Solus, and I can see what clients are connected. This Solus router actually happens to be on the public internet in Canada, and I'm connecting to it from California. So this is a true sort of messaging as a service, or a cloud service kind of connection. We can look at various different things here in terms of the endpoints. We've actually defined a VPN called Layer 7 VPN. So you can partition a Solus router into multiple different message VPNs, we call them. Think of them like partitions on a mainframe or VMware instances for a computer. But these are basically separate brokers that you can share usernames and passwords with other message buses and not have a collision of any kind. So good for cloud computing and for multi-tenancy on a single host. Okay, so there's my layer 7 to Solus to layer 7 queues, and you can see there's no message spooled for them right now. And similarly, I'm going to go in here and I can look at RabbitMQ through the web-based interface. I'm just going to refresh this, and you'll see the two queues, no messages in or out of either of these two queues here. And with the command line tool here for MQ series called Q, I think I'm running. What am I running? Release 6.0. Okay, Paul Clark's tool. I can look into the queues as well. So I'll just say queue, input queue, and I can see there's no messages in my input queue, and there's no messages in my output queue. All right. I also have a little application here I've written with the JavaScript API, so I can monitor traffic in real time. So I'm just going to run this here in node.js. I'm going to subscribe to the layer 7 topic, L7 topic, which is the topic that we're going to be publishing messages onto using Solus. And I have similarly, I'll have one up here where I can generate traffic. So let's look at the piece in the middle. The piece in the middle is the layer 7 secure span gateway, and this is the policy manager, the GUI interface to that. There are quite a few different policy assertions in here that you can use within layer 7. A lot of them have to do, for example, with access control, security, XML, transformation, validation, and so on. But the main ones we're using in this demo are the ones that are in the message routing category, specifically AMQP, JMS, and a native MQ bridge. Okay. Excuse me. So I've actually created here a little policy pipeline where every time a message comes into any of the input queues, I'm going to publish it to the Solace JMS topic, which we can see in real time. I'm going to put it into the Solace queue. I'm going to put it into an AMQP queue, and I'm going to put it into a native MQ series queue. All right, and all of these here can be configured through this task manager independently. You can say, for example, here if I just look at the MQ native MQ queues, I've got my input and my output queue configured in here, and there's a set of properties that you can configure that say, you know, what host are they running on, what port, security credentials, whether you want SSL or digital certificates, all that kind of stuff for inbound and outbound queues, right? And these could be one-way or request reply or what have you. So we've configured them all through this sort of interface. All right. So let me put this away. Just as an example, remember I've got my subscriber running over here, so I should be able to see traffic coming in real time. If I put something into the queue, I'm just going to say queue output into the input queue. Okay. And I'm just going to put in a message called MQ, and we should see that show up right away over here in the subscriber. And I might just put a bunch of other messages in, so we'll see them showing up. But as an example, that's my input. I've just put 3 messages into the queue. We can see them over here in the real-time display. And if I go into excuse me, let me go into RabbitMQ here. I'm going to refresh. You'll see there are 3 messages in this queue, and if I want to take a look at that particular queue and I want to consume those messages, and I'm just going to say get messages. Might as well just get all 3 of them. I'll leave them in there. If I get those 3 messages, you'll see there's my message payload MQ, MQ2, and MQ3. All right. And in fact, we've configured this central box also to loop back into MQ series. So anything I put in input queue will come back into the test queue. So if I go back there and take a look again, I say I can browse the queue, see what's in there. See if I browse it and I browse it again, it's still in there. If I do the capital I option, that will actually consume it from the queue. So there's the 3 messages taken from the queue, and now they're gone. So you can see it looped back from the input queue to the test queue. So all messages that came in went back out, out, and out from MQ series. So let's try a different way. Let's try publishing on any of these other buses, right? Let me write a little application here. I'm going to run my Solace publisher and just say node L7 pub. And similar to the queue utility I was using, I can type in here. I'll type in message sol1, sol2, sol3. Whoops, I did 2 twice. Sol 3 and 4. All right, 3, 4. So you can see in real time the messages are coming out down below, and yeah, let's try and publish a couple messages from Rabbit as well, and just make sure it's all interconnected. So for publishing onto AMQP, I'm going to go back into my queue. Have the input queue. I'll just put something in here. I can make it a persistent or a non-persistent message. I'm just going to call it AMQP1 and publish that message. All right. I'm going to put a couple in here as well. So you see, 1, 2. All right. So let's just double check that everything is as it should be. Okay. My input queue has been drained. I have now 8 messages in my output queue in Rabbit. And if I go look at that queue, and I get all of those messages, I'll just actually get them now, so they'll be taken out. We can see them all in there. What do we got? MQ, MQ2, 3, SOL, 1, 2, 3, right? AMQP, 1, 2. So they're all in there. And all my messages have come out here in my Solus subscriber with the web streaming API. And let me consume the queue here from MQ series, and we can see them. I already pulled the 3 from IBM, and you'll see Solus and AMQP. Right. So this is just a quick demo, recapping full interoperability in real time. Both for publish and subscribe and for queuing, in fact, here between AMQP, IBM WebSphere, and Solus. In this particular environment, I have everything in this blue box running on my laptop, the middle running in a VMware instance, and as I mentioned, the MQ series, the Solus hardware appliance running in the cloud on the internet. I could, in fact, run this in a mode where everything was running on the Solus appliance as a single unit. So, in addition to the hardware components that we have in the Solus router for accelerating guaranteed messaging and publish and subscribe, there is also the capability to add software, standard Linux software running on the control plane. So layer 7 and an IBM WebSphere instance, for example, could all be running on a single appliance, and that appliance then could be talking off the box using native proprietary protocols or open protocols, for example, talking a channel-channel protocol into an IBM mainframe